On the Raiders rundown, we are going to talk about Darren Waller. Is he dissing Jon Gruden? Derek Carr hypes up running back Zamir White, and several players are missing from practice. What is going on there? Plus, Mark Davis is selling some minority shares of the Raiders. What is going on? Hey, like this video if you haven't already, and subscribe to the Raiders rundown for more Raiders content. First, what we have here is the fact that Deshaun Reed of The Athletic is reporting that there are some players still not at practice. Darren Waller is not at practice, hasn't been around for about 4 or 5 sessions. We're going to let you know in a second why we don't think that's that big of a deal. But what is a big deal on this list? I think Clelin Ferrell still missing several sessions. Haven't seen the guy in some time, and I think it's going to really cause some problems for him on the depth chart. And we know this is basically a contract year for Clelin Ferrell, not only for him to perform well for the Raiders, but the rest of the NFL and try to really get signed somewhere else if it doesn't work with the Raiders next offseason. So big concern for Ferrell not being there. Parker has missed a few days. Yes, some people speculated that he is on IR, but there's been no legitimate report from anybody that he is on injured reserve, and the Raiders haven't said anything about that, and he has just missed a few sessions. And Anthony Averett and Rock Ya-Sin missing some sessions here. I think this is the biggest deal on the list. I think quite possibly, unless Trayvon Mullen comes back from the PUP list soon, which Vincent Bosinger of the Las Vegas Review-Journal said the Raiders are optimistic that Trayvon Mullen can come back pretty soon. I don't know what's going on with this cornerback situation. We might have to sign another veteran if Averett or Rock Ya-Sin keep missing some time. Hopefully they can come back pretty soon, but it has been several sessions for those two guys. I think they were slated to be in the starting lineup if Mullen is not healthy, so we really need these two guys back. But thankfully, it's still early on in preseason, so we have time for things to work out. And Darren Waller had some time to hang out at the Aces game with the governor of Nevada and Mark Davis. And this is why we know Waller's been missing some practice sessions. He's done this before, but you know he's in good graces with this organization, and that's good to see. To me, when I see Mark Davis hanging out with Darren Waller, that tells me perhaps an extension will be happening soon. That tells me that things are a lot friendlier with the owner and the player than it is opposed to other teams. You know, you got Roquan Smith with the Bears. There's not some good blood there, but there's some good, healthy chemistry, healthy relationships, some smiles, some laughs, and hopefully in between eating some popcorn and watching some layups, hopefully these guys are talking about this contract, ironing it out. And we know just recently what had happened is on Busting with the Boys, Darren Waller alluded to the fact that, yes, there aren't any guarantees on his contract, and that's why that's in the air right now. And he also talked about Jon Gruden and his red zone opportunities in the Gruden era. Take a look at this clip.
It was in the past couple years where I felt like I didn't have there wasn't like a clear defined attack in the red zone or like a plan for me specifically. I felt like it was just kind of like, what the fuck am I doing sometimes?
Yeah.
But now I kind of feel like that's something that's in place with Josh and developing just off of this offseason alone. So it's kind of asking him about how did your role in the red zone come about? Because that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Like for me, there's no reason why my big ass shouldn't be,
Oh yeah, bro. I'm
dominating in the red zone at all times,
And so he seems frustrated that there wasn't a direct plan for him in the red zone. And we know Jon Gruden and the Raiders have struggled in the red zone, but let's not completely rewrite history. I think Darren Waller is trying to suck up to the new head coach. I think Darren Waller, who has spoken positively about Jon Gruden several times prior to Gruden getting canceled with his emails, really is now trying to flip the script and kind of throw him under the bus and praise the new head coach. Oh, he has a new plan for us in the red zone. He has a great plan, even though they have not played a regular season game once yet. I think he's trying to get this new contract. What better way than to suck up to the new head coach? It's a smart move. And I also believe Darren Waller, at the end of the day, he has a love-hate relationship with Gruden. He loves the fact that Gruden gave him an opportunity back in 2019. He signed him to a long contract, a 3-year contract, $27 million. But he also resents the fact that he did that, because if it wasn't for Gruden locking up Darren Waller mid-season, by the way, it was mid-season when this extension was signed, Darren Waller wouldn't be in the situation he is in today. And the situation he is in today is that he is tremendously underpaid. Gruden knew what he was doing. He was smart and brilliant with this decision. He saw in the first few games, wow, this guy's a baller. This guy's a stud. Let's lock him up right now. It'll be a bargain deal in the future. And now the Raiders are sitting in a situation where they have Darren Waller under contract for this year and next year at $7 million a pop. That is insane, an insane bargain deal. And that's leaving Darren Waller frustrated, wondering, hey, I need to be paid like one of the top guys in football, top tight ends, because that's who I am. And that's why perhaps he's hanging out with Mark Davis, trying to iron this stuff out. So yes, Jon Gruden and the Raiders did struggle in the red zone. We all know this, but we all know the problems this organization has had that has been outside of Jon Gruden and Darren Waller's control. Keep in mind, in the red zone, before Hunter Renfrow really came into his own, Darren Waller is the number one guy that has to be covered in the red zone. In the red zone, they don't stick a linebacker on Darren Waller. No, they stick their best cornerback on Darren Waller every time. That's what defenses do. And now we finally have somebody like Davante Adams who could free up Darren Waller in the red zone. Perhaps he can get mismatched with the safety, with the linebacker, stuff that Gronkowski gets the benefit of, stuff that Travis Kelce gets the benefit of when you have other weapons on the field there. So hopefully that could happen in this new regime. Either way, Derek Carr had some really nice things to say about new 4th-round pick running back out of Georgia, Zamir White. Take a look at it.
He is very special, and I think that, y'all probably know it deeper and better than I do, but his story, it's unbelievable what he's gone through in his life, what his family's gone through in their life, and to see the adversity that he has continually overcome, right? He just keeps doing it. And then to see him get out there in his first preseason game and run with that violence and run with, that passion, the way that he did, it was unbelievable. Just watching him go out and work and do those things has been really fun for me to watch. I really enjoyed being around him.
And it's really insane to hear, and it's really insane to hear Zamir White's story, man. Check this film out if you haven't already that we made on Zamir White. The link will be in the pinned comment below. But Zamir White really did flash in his first game, and it's interesting to see and always great to see the great story and the great comeback kid coupled with backing it up on the field. Oftentimes if there's the great emotional story, but they're not putting up the numbers, then a lot of people don't care about the story too much. Let's just be real. But Zamir White backed it up on the field against the Jacksonville Jaguars, had 82% of his yards, by the way, of these 40 yards came after contact. That's pretty insane. The majority came after contact, so this guy does not go down. Picked up 40 yards off 10 attempts, 4 yards per carry. You gotta love that. No problem with ball security for Zamir White. So maybe we'll see a little bit more of Zamir White in this Minnesota game, and hopefully he could really start to build on his legacy and prove all of the people who believed in him even more right. And it was great to see Derek Carr hype up our guy Zamir White. Like to see that. What we don't like to see is Walmart buying the Denver Broncos. Yes, Walmart is lame. I don't go there. I prefer Target most of the time anyways, but Walmart has bought the Denver Broncos, Mr. Unlimited. Let's ride Russell Wilson. Well, now he might as well just have like that blue Walmart vest on when he's playing football games at this point, because Walton has bought the Denver Broncos. And Mark Davis was asked about this. He was asked about this. Does this change anything? Because unfortunately for Raiders fans, when you got a rich owner in the division like the Walton family, owner of Walmart, it's going to make stuff tough for us, man. It's going to make it harder for us to compete financially to buy certain players. Mark Davis said, no, they don't play in the games. And I thought the Bolins, previous Broncos owners, were a strong ownership group. I thought they did a really good job. They were tough. The AFC West is tough. But like I said before, Mark Davis, yes, he is becoming wealthier, but the Walton family has a lot of cash on hand. And if we're competing for the same player, they could maybe have the liquidity to say, yo, I'll give you $10 million right here. You won't have to wait every year in your contract to get $5 million here, $5 million here. That's the way it works. Signing bonuses and rich owners can really fork out a lot of cash on hand to make the players happy. And that's what the owner of the Rams does. He's rich as hell and he's able to do that. And the Davis family, we've always, the Raiders have always been more working class, small business. Mark Davis and Al Davis, one of the few owners in the NFL that makes all their income from football. Some of these other guys, like the owner of the Rams, Walton family, they got these other business endeavors. They're billionaires doing all kinds of stuff. But Raiders have always been more small business with it. So we've never had the cash on hand to just straight drop it. And look, talking about the Gruden situation earlier, yeah, he hasn't had the talent most of the time in the red zone to just fork out a bunch of cash on players. That's why you got to have diamonds in the rough like Darren Waller. But now, since the Raiders have gained more money, Mark Davis is forking out cash. He's buying Davante Adams, buying Chandler Jones, putting that extension on Max Crosby, Hunter Renfrow, locking him down. He's spending cash. And that's because the Raiders are valued at $6.5 billion. And we found this out because Mark Davis Davis had an audit and assessment of the franchise because somebody, unknown name, Forbes magazine was noting this, unknown name, unknown buyer, trying to buy a minority stake in the Raiders organization. We already have this group called First Football led by this guy named Paul Led. It's pretty funny. His name is Paul Led and he's leading, but they have some shares in the Raiders. They're a minority purchaser. Mark Davis owns 51% of the Raiders right now, according to Forbes, and has another buyer who wants to buy some shares. So maybe Mark Davis does need some cash right now. Kind of scary to hear that, but hey, if someone's going to inquire and offer some money, and if Mark Davis thinks it's the right call, maybe just sell a share here or two. As long as Mark Davis stays the majority owner, I would be happy. Because I know Mark Davis isn't nothing like Al Davis. Al Davis, was more of a winner than Mark Davis. I mean, he admitted it himself, but I like it to stay in the Davis family. To me, there's just something about tradition and legacy, even if it's irrational sometimes. I don't know. I just think it's important. Either way, the Raiders used to be valued at $1.4 billion. 2015, just 7 years ago, we were valued at $1.4 billion, almost the last in the league, 31st in the league. Now you see us at $6.5 billion. That's insane. Keep in mind, the average NFL franchise is only valued about like $4 billion. So this is really good for the Raiders. We're one of the more wealthier franchises now. And then we could compete with the Broncos and the Walton family and the Walmart Broncos and all of them when it comes to purchasing players because we're making more money. So it's good to see that happening with the Raiders, even though seems like Mark Davis is trying to get some extra cash right now. Hopefully that's a spend on even more players by selling a minority stake in the franchise. Interesting stuff. Randall Cunningham, former team chaplain that was signed and appointed by Jon Gruden, leading the religious aspect of the football team, having that moral support, having that sermon that he does every week with the Raiders organization. This is no longer going to happen. He eventually resigned, and really we didn't know why he resigned. And then it came out that the Raiders straight up ghosted him. Randall Cunningham was still on the team technically. He tried to reach out to Mark Davis about, hey, when are we going to start getting things going with this, with me being the team chaplain? Didn't really respond, kind of ghosted him. Josh McDaniels ghosted him too for a little while and finally said, hey, I'm excited to get some stuff done. And then Randall Cunningham, based on this article that's come out, you could see it all over the news, he kind of got the vibe that they just didn't want him there anymore. And yes, probably makes sense since he was part of the Gruden regime, but you still got Deuce Gruden there working for the Raiders right now, strength and conditioning coach. So it's really weird to see this staff and this organization take a different direction where they're not valuing the team chaplain that much. And maybe it's not a big deal. Who knows? But I definitely think this is a shift in culture in this team. And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but you guys let me know. Team chaplain, something that the Raiders used to value, having that religious aspect in the building. And now it seems like it's going to go away under the Josh McDaniels era. Either way, hey, like this video if you haven't already and subscribe to the Raiders Rundown for more Raiders content. My name is WiFiWillie. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.